This significant development in contemporary history shows the devastating effects of the coronavirus pandemic that has had on the world. Human lives have been lost and economies have been badly affected, leaving governments and people with no option but to significantly adjust to cope with the new normal. Your Eminence, the AL-ADHA, during this trying coronavirus moment, makes the meaning and significance of this great festival of sacrifice more telling. There can't be a better time in our lives to be more obedient, more inclusive, more selfless than this moment when we have to be each other's keeper by making a lot more sacrifices. The outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic exposed difficulties less privileged in our society, and it reinforced the Akufo-Addo government's belief and determination to build an inclusive society which cares for the poor and the deprived in our country. Caring for the poor is at the very heart of the Quran. Charity is one of the zakat, is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. And so we are always reminded of sacrificing the little, no matter how little we have, for the benefit of the poor and the deprived. This is the reason why, apart from government's sustained efforts at curbing the spread of the coronavirus, it has also made it a topmost priority to alleviate the suffering of the pandemic on individuals, especially the poor and less privileged, and businesses. Since the outbreak of the pandemic in March, government has taken bold steps such as distribution of hot meals and water to the less privileged during the lockdown, free electricity to lifeline consumers, and a 50% reduction for others, 100% subsidy on the water bill for 6 months, and a 600 million Ghana cedis package, alleviation package to small enterprises. Your Eminence, a government that cares is a government that alleviates the suffering of its citizens during a crisis. And that is exactly what this government has done, and inshallah will continue to do during this crisis and beyond. Your Eminence, building an inclusive society requires pragmatic to ensure that everybody is covered, everybody is included. This has been the focus of the government, and this thinking is evidently clear in the broader social intervention policies of our government. And Ghana, and have historically been excluded in many aspects of governance and access opportunities in poor, deprived, rural, inner city and Zungo dwellers generally face a number of common problems which entrench their exclusion in many aspects of governance and from access to opportunities. In our quest to build an inclusive society, we identified these causes of exclusion which need urgent attention. First is establishment of identity for everybody. Establishing identity is one of the most important elements of inclusion, because if you are not officially recognized as part of any society, how can you partake fully in that society? So we identify the absence of a unique national identity card as a problem or number. Location, addresses, where do you live? For most of the poor, just giving that address is a problem. We've seen a lot of deprivation of Zongo communities where governments over the years have not paid much attention to their development needs. You see many without access to telephone networks as this world goes increasingly digital. Healthcare, access to healthcare is also another area of exclusion for many of the poor and deprived. Access to ambulances and so on. Education is a major area for exclusion because if you do not get education, you are going to be likely excluded from many aspects of the society. So our ability to afford school fees, access to scholarships, and so on was also identified. Unemployment also leads to exclusion, lack of attention to persons with disabilities, the centralization and bureaucracy in obtaining who are influential to get things done. And so you need to implement policies that address these problems. And these problems mean that the excluded, the poor, the poor, passport, electricity, NHIS renewal, and even the courts, the processes are more streamlined, and it doesn't depend on who you know because you can do it online and you don't have to interact with anybody. One of the most important areas of inclusion that we have done is financial inclusion. And alhamdulillah, I think that what we have done in Ghana through the implementation of mobile money interoperability, I think Ghana right now is the only country on the African continent to have been able to do this mobile money interoperability. And that means that what we have done is that if you have a mobile money account today, because of the interoperability with bank accounts, the mobile money account is as good as a bank account. So by bringing mobile money interoperability, we have brought financial inclusion to everybody. You can have your mobile money account, you can even receive interest on it, you can make any payments with it, and it is what many countries have not been able to do. But alhamdulillah, Ghana, we have been able to do it. And we are the only country in Africa that has been able to do this mobile money interoperability that we are talking about. And that means we have now brought a whole lot of people who didn't have bank accounts to have bank accounts today because they have mobile money accounts. Rural telephony sites for broadband access, we've expanded it. When we came for the last 8 years before us, only 78 sites were deployed. In the last 3.5 years, we've deployed 400 sites. Your Eminence, as we prepared our manifesto for 2016, we took a critical look at the Zongos. And we identified 2 key problems that we thought, inshallah, if we had a chance, we needed to address. One was education, and the other was to look for a vehicle that will prioritize real sustainable development in the Zongos, which had been excluded for so long in the past. To address these 2 problems, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, promised the people of the Zongo that he would establish the Zongo Development Fund if he got elected, by the grace of Allah. However, after winning the 2016 elections, by the grace of Allah, President Akufo-Addo did not only fulfill the promise of establishing the Zongo Development Fund, but he also decided to go a step further by creating a ministry for Zongo and inner city development. Today, the Ministry for Zongo and Inner Cities Development, as well as the Zongo Development Fund, serve as dedicated government agencies addressing issues affecting the Zongos and inner cities, especially on education and infrastructure development. So this means that, inshallah, from now ongoing, the Zongos will always be catered for in every budget. This is the first time in history. Every budget we will have allocations for the Zongos. On education, apart from the flagship free SHS and several children from the Zongos who are benefiting, the Zongo Development Fund and the ministry have prioritized education in the Zongos by building and renovating classroom blocks, ICT centers. They've constructed 37 ICT centers in many Zongos. Alhamdulillah, some of us are here where we are today because of education. So it is important to invest in education of our children to help them and our societies out of poverty. Still on education, through the Scholarship Secretariat and the Zongo Development Fund, 40 brilliant but less privileged students drawn from the Zongos and inner cities are currently in Cuba on government scholarship studying medicine. The government is more determined and committed to uplifting education in Zongo communities. And as a result, the president has decided that, inshallah, in his next term of office through the Zongo Development Fund and the Ministry for Education, we will build 16 model senior secondary schools in Zongo communities in each of the 16 regions in Ghana. President Akufo-Addo's sincerity towards the education of the Zongo child is further underlined by his government's decision to restore the paying of allowances to instructors who teach children in various Zongos, Arabic and Islamic studies. Your Eminence, the Zongo Development Fund is providing clinics, drainage system, water, ICT, vocational training, toilets. We have done 10 astroturfs and green parks, and so on. They are also engaged in entrepreneurship training. This program will select over 1,000 young entrepreneurs from Zongos who will be trained and given monetary support to start businesses. My dear brothers and sisters, on the basis of the evidence so far, we can say in all humility and without any equivocation that there really is no government in recent history that has paid as much attention to the development needs of the Zongo communities and put in place a vehicle to deliver those development needs as the government of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Your Eminence, this year is an important year for our country as we will be going to the polls in December. If Ghana is revered across the globe as a shining example of democracy in Africa, it is because of how we have generally conducted ourselves peacefully in previous elections. We have to maintain this enviable reputation, and it is important for all stakeholders to ensure that we maintain peace, we enjoy the peace we enjoy in this country. We in government have a responsibility to ensure that, and we pledge our commitment to that. I want to take this opportunity to appeal to the youth of the Zongos to reject being used as pawns to perpetuate political violence. Our communities no longer be a place where the violent-minded people will come and hire people to propagate their agenda. This must be a thing of the past. We are fortunate to have our father, the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Osman Nur Sharbutu, an icon of peace we can always draw inspirations from to eschew violence. I urge every Zongo youth to emulate the peaceful nature of our father wherever you are and ward against acts of violence. Regardless of your political affiliation, politics should not be a barrier between you and your fellow brother from the same community. The elections are a simple exercise of choosing worthy leaders who will ensure our inclusion in national policies, welfare, and our nation's development. It is not an exercise to divide us through violence. Your Eminence, COVID-19 is still here with us, and I urge all Muslims celebrating the Eid today to take extra precaution. As the easing of restrictions on limited number of people for religious gatherings takes effect tomorrow, August 1st, inshallah, I wish to further encourage both my Muslim and Christian brothers and sisters to continue to adhere strictly to the coronavirus safety measures announced by the government, especially the washing of hands, wearing of face masks, and observing social distancing during services in mosques and churches respectively. May the blessing of Allah, may the blessing associated with this sacred festival of sacrifice help us to overcome this unprecedented global pandemic. Before I bring my remarks to a close, I just want to congratulate the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation on its 85th anniversary on this very auspicious day of AL-ADHA. Ghana Broadcasting Corporation is a national treasure, and they have done so well to keep us together. They have hosted us on 2 successive Eids now on these grounds, and we want to wish them, a happy Eid al-Adha, and to encourage them, and they can count on government's support for the next 85 years, inshallah. And may Allah bless us and our families, loved ones, and our dear country, Ghana. I thank you all for your attention. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, we are grateful to you for that address. I have a few more announcements. With us also is Al-Hajj Abubakar Yaqub, who is representing the Al-Sunnah or Jama'ah here in Ghana. He is representing the Jamaat here at the premises where we are holding the virtual Eid celebration. We also have Hajj Abdul Manan, who is the president of COMOG, and COMOG is a coalition of Muslims organizations in Ghana, and Sheikh Khalif Gomda is representing the Shia community here, and we are grateful to you as well. Your Excellency, you have sent one of your very own, the Chief Executive of the AMA, Honorable Mohammed Ejesoa, to deliver a message to us, and he's here. He'll do that on your behalf now. Thank you. Honorable.
Thank you very much. His Excellency, on behalf of His Excellency the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and on behalf of the state, we're fully aware that today is a day of feast, and the Chief Imam's residence will be full of people to come for a feast. On behalf of His Excellency the Vice President and the state, we are donating a cash in an envelope to the Chief Imam and his office. There again, His Excellency the Vice President is fully aware that there's a cost borne by the committee that put together this wonderful occasion. Being fully aware of it, on behalf of the state, His Excellency the Vice President wants to absorb the cost. Therefore, it presents a cash to absorb the entire cost of organization of this Eid to the Eid committee. Thank you very much. His Excellency the Vice President is highly honored and privileged to have the presence of the Council of Zongo Chiefs here. He's also fully aware that as we depart from here and go back to our house, as a chief, we recognize your clout and your influence, that people will come to your house for feasts. And on behalf of His Excellency the Vice President and the state, we present a cash to the Council of Zongo Chiefs. And finally, we are on the GBC grounds. We are quite excited by the fact that GBC has organized, have given us this particular platform for us to hold this virtual AL-ADHA. That is the first of its kind. We are very much grateful. We know that there's some costs involved, and His Excellency the Vice President, on behalf of the state, also wants to make a cash donation to GBC to take care of some costs that they might have incurred. And then finally, today is a day of sacrifice. And there are two significant attributes as human beings that we learn on this day: obedience and sacrifice. We have been very obedient to have come here to come and pray. And the element of sacrifice marks the end of this festival. On behalf of the state, once again, His Excellency the Vice President has donated a big bull for it to be slaughtered by the Chief Imam, His Eminence, Dr. Nuhu Sharabuti. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. This is a day that, if you have, you need to be able to share. And we are mindful of the fact that GBC is hosting us, and there's a large Muslim community in the GBC. So the Vice President, on behalf of the state, is donating another bull for GBC so that they can slaughter it for the feast. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mohammed Ejeso, Chief Executive of the AMA. Now, ladies and gentlemen, announcement. Please, everyone, respectfully, respectfully, we are on national television.